Hello everyone. So today in this video, we're going to go through the concept of people, process, and technology. The goal is for you to understand how you can use it efficiently in any projects that you may have in your company and making sure that you are really taking advantage of this concept. So you can think that the concept is too theoretical, but that's the goal. So today we're going to make sure that we're going to help you to find a practical usage of this concept and what are the relationships between people, process, and technology, and how you can use them, how you can use that concept in all the projects that you have. And at the end, we're going to give you an example. So what we have people, which is all the stakeholders involved in and around your project. It means that the people working in a project, it could be external consultants, it could be you as leadership team, it could be visitors, it could be any people related to the project, or even providers of a solution. When we say process, in that case, we talk about processes, all the processes involved in what you want to optimize or on the project that you're working on that is going to affect the way that your staff, your people are going to work in optimizing anything in your company. And technology is, as you already guessed, is really tools, services, software, even devices that are going to be put in the hands of your staff, people, and will also implement the processes that you have in your company. So how to use this concept of people, process, and technology the best way? So what are the advantages of using it initially? So it's really to help to keep the focus, because in that case, a project is a lot more complex than only 3 items or 3 pillars. But with that concept, that's a good start to help you to keep the focus on your project or even before starting your project. And by knowing where to focus and where the things are going to be more difficult or more challenging to do, you can manage your risk. You can plan ahead and making sure you have contingency plans, and you can try to mitigate those risks as much as possible. If it is around people, process, or technology, or all of them, or 2 of them, this is something that in the example later, I'm going to show you how you can make those differences. And also, again, trying to do everything or simplify everything under only 3 pillars, it seems to be a bit simplistic, but that simple, holistic view of a project or many projects helps you to take advantage of that, the simplicity of it, and find out how you can take advantage of it. And also, when you are working on a project on people, process, and technology, you are working with people because you don't manage projects. You're managing people working on your projects. So in that case, that concept can help you to communicate with that staff or any stakeholders in your organization or around your organization that can really understand where you're going with your project. And the last one on that list is the level of effort. You know exactly if the risk, if the effort, where the efforts should be put in and where are the risks are going to be put in. And this way you can manage, okay, we need to work more on people, we need to work more on technology on this project. So you can allocate the resources accordingly. So now if we look at all these 3 elements or these 3 elements and we think about what are the relationships between them. So obviously you can think about people. People are, let's say we talk about staff. Staff is going to use the processes every day, obviously, to do their work. And the processes, when you have a technology that the people are using, you want these processes to be implemented, to be configured within or on that technology. So the people are using the technology to execute some processes. And the technology also imposes certain, I would say, limitations onto the processes. So if I go here and say, okay, people uses processes every day. So this is that relationship. Technology imposes processes. What does that mean is technology, even if it is fully configurable, there is always some limitations that prevents you to apply exactly your actual processes and put them in the technology. So you need to adapt your processes a bit to fit how the technology works. Example, a software with a few things. So that's something you need to keep in mind. People have to learn new processes. People have to learn new technology as well. And the technology helps to automate some, if not all, of the processes along the way. And again, technology needs to adapt to processes. So this is how you must see the relationships between people, process, and technology. And depending on your project, and we'll see this an example later, you'll be able to make that decision. So how to use them in your projects? So let's use a pie chart. So, we're talking about food. That helps a lot to remember what we're talking about. So this pie chart is like divided equally right now, but depending on the project, that may change. So in that case example, something you have to do early on in the project is you need to assess the people's skills. Are your people able to work on the technology easily on the next day, or you need to do training and train them and be patient and let your people to take the time to learn a new technology. So that's really key to understand what's going on in terms of the skills. And also in terms of processes, what is the level of the changes that's going to happen from the processes you have actually to the ones that you're going to implement within a technology, a software product, a SaaS, or even a device, as I said. And also with technology, there are always challenges. So what are they? You need to figure that out. So these three main elements here are really to help you to understand by assessing all these three main things: people, process, and technology. After that, you know that you need to train people. Most probably you need to train the people. So you need to find, do you have training material already available by the software provider or the SaaS provider that can help you to train your people, or put that material available to them on any platform you may have in your company. Also, again, risk management. You need to, by assessing all these things, you'll know if you have any issues with people being very low to understand technology, that's a risk that you have to address ASAP with training and training material. If the processes are going to be totally changed because people are doing it one way and now you have a long process because you're adding more and more steps, this is something that you need to plan it accordingly. In the case of processes, make sure you have a map of all those pathways or journey or visitor journey or employee's journey. Make sure that you have all that map visually so they can really follow what's going on, so your staff can understand what's happening with the processes. And focus, we already mentioned it, and let your staff some time to absorb the new things, new technologies, new processes. It could be something else as well in your project, but let them some time to absorb the new stuff. So now let's go to the example. The example that I'm going to talk about now is, okay, in that case, in the new project, there is a new technology. So it's a new SaaS, software as a service on the cloud, that the staff, people, they've never seen before. And in terms of processes, we want to implement the processes we already have in our company, and we want to bring them on that new technology. So no significant changes in the processes. I have to say that because of the technology you choose, you may have to change certain processes, but let's say that in that case, it doesn't change much. And on the people side, the people, as I said, they don't know the technology, so they're not skilled at using that technology. Or even if they know something equivalent, overall, they are not skilled at using it. So this is the context of the example. So how do we approach a scenario around people, process, and technology? So just if you look at the shape of the pie now, just because of this, we know that new technology, so it's a new thing. So you say, we need to focus on that for sure. We really need to understand how this tool works, and very, very well before talking, before even presenting it to the staff. You need to understand it very, very well. And from that, you say, okay, how my processes are going to be implemented. So during that process of learning the new technology, you need to think about, okay, am I able to put my actual processes and bring them on this new technology? So second point. Third point, people, they are not skilled. They know the process, they know the processes because they've used them quite intensively, but they haven't used it or used them on the new technology. So you need to focus on that. So that's why, if you look at it in a very simple manner in this concept, is we need to focus on people and technology. So technology to understand everything based on the processes, and people for training, further training, demos from the vendor, ask their feedback during the configuration process to make sure that you are grasping everything that they do every day. So the tool will be able to do exactly what, or not exactly, but what they are used to do, and even more and more and more. So in the process, I put like some effort in there because, as I said no change. I wrote no changes, but in fact, because it's a new technology and we want to implement these processes on this new technology, the technology is not perfect. You will have to change the processes a bit. And also, I really, really suggest to map them to make sure that they're going to get it. They will understand that flow will make sense to them. And when they execute it on the technology, on the software or the SaaS, they'll be able to follow it nicely. So in that case, the focus is really on people and technology and a bit on the process. Never forget the people. So always keep the pie in mind as a small joke. So people, it represents all the stakeholders in and around your project, as I said. So never underestimate the importance of the people. People make changes, not technology. In terms of process, to put it simply, it's sequences of tasks. You must master your processes. If you take the time to look at what we call the quote to cash process, so the main process within your company that generates most of your revenues, if you look at this process from beginning to the end, you'll find ways to improve it. You'll find new tools that could fit there. You'll find ways of improving it, but also training the people to be more efficient. So all these things, people, process, technology, after you've done the mapping of your quote to cash main process, that's going to be like tremendous for you. You'll understand many things in your company. So if you haven't done that, please start to do that, like on paper, whatever the format you want. That's going to be very, very beneficial for many, many reasons. And so what I'm saying is, if you want to improve those processes, it's not because you buy a tool or you subscribe to a tool like on a monthly basis or annually basis that is going to fix your problems. You need to understand your process to configure the tool to the way you want, to improve your processes, to improve your competitiveness, and you need to find the best way to train your people, get their feedback, train them, so they will be efficient in using the technology in your new processes to bring value to your customers, which eventually it's a good return on investment for your company. In terms of technology, so selecting the right tools for a business, and that tool or these tools, they need to be fully integrated, but it need to be a good fit with your actual or your future processes and your people as well. If you take something too overwhelming for your staff, or the best tool that can do everything that can do in the future in 10, 15 years, but it's too complex for you now, don't take that one. Make sure you do the right choice. So just maybe in summary, the people, process, technology concept can be really, really useful to just look at a project or a bunch of projects in a holistic view, like the big picture, and that can really, really help you to understand where to focus on and a few more things. But one thing that you have to focus first is the processes you already have in your business. After that, you can look at the technology that can fit those processes. And after that, take care of the people who are going to use the technology to work out on the processes that can help to generate more value from your organizations to your customers or any stakeholders around. So hopefully it has been helpful. So thank you.